Hey, cool kid.
What's up?
I'm Amber,
I'm Dwayne.
and we are two clueless uh, pro wrestling fans. We are agnostic as far as which promotion.
I think that's a good way to describe it.
So today I had a very exciting idea because this world is relatively new to me. And the drama, I love it.
Right,
Let me rephrase that. The on-screen drama, not
right.
the off-screen drama, because that's a whole other mess. But the on-screen stuff I'm fascinated by. And at first I was just WWE because that's what I was introduced to. But then I found AEW, but like the world that I got introduced to, it's like AEW sucks because of XYZ. To be clear, I haven't seen an entire AEW episode, but the
Same.
characters are hilarious. The like they are charming and funny, and I love it. Uh, because I like, just like the South Park episode, I like all the character stuff even
Yeah.
more than the wrestling.
hmm No, I agree. AEW has shown me some of the most interesting characters in the last, few years. Um, but we'll get into it. But I love that. I was excited to see it when the rise, when they were on the rise, like all these strange people fighting in the ring. Like it was great.
Okay, so there's two things going on.
hmm
I sent you a video,
Yeah.
and I don't remember what the video was, and I did notes on the multiverse.
Okay.
So talk to me about the video that I sent you.
Yeah. So you sent me a video about after AEW. Well, you sent me two videos. One was, I think, just overall how did AEW start, and the other one was interesting because it was like how AEW changed wrestling as a whole. And that one was cool because it talked about how you had Khan and McMahon kind of literally, and this is what I love about authors and writers and people who are in creative rooms. They are changing the realities of the little worlds that they own.
Hmm.
And I thought it was awesome that they're seeing each other write these different stories and in turn having to switch the narrative or quickly, do this or do crossovers, which is so cool. And so yeah, and I thought it was interesting. They brought up Roman Reigns and our boy Cody, you know, and it's interesting seeing where they are now, like both of those wrestlers. Um, but that little 2019 to like 2023 thing going on with them, that was cool. But yeah.
Okay. And can you go back to when you were talking about changing on the fly and all that kind of stuff?
hmm
Give me an example.
Well, I know with um, one of them was what WWE did when um, well, and they lost this one, but it was they were switching over their shows, like their show timing, trying to beat out the little guy. And AEW, first of all, they had the social media marketing. The youth was on their side, but seeing WWE have to change their entire, you know, formatting for a smaller service was crazy. And um, the biggest change was McMahon to Triple H,
Hmm.
which, you know, in every other business aspect is like, oh, that's huge. The CEO has changed, you know, and yeah, I think that it's interesting to see.
Okay. So stop moving around your mic and rubbing it about and stuff.
Sorry.
All right. So we got to get you a microphone. Also,
We do.
y'all, we're just doing audio, but I'm getting like motion sickness. Like sometimes his video is pointing to the ceiling, sometimes it's looking out the window, sometimes it's half of his face.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Just put it.
I'm stationary.
Well, is your arm gonna get tired?
No,
Okay.
no.
All right. And also like you're backlit, so like the sun is in my eye. Dude, you're killing me. That's all right. We're fine. We will keep going. All right. I will be fine. Okay. So now for the homework I did.
Hmm.
So I don't remember what sparked this exactly,
Right.
but I think that the concept of like characters, I guess we'll call it,
Mm.
leaving, no, not characters, performers leaving one promotion and going to another was fascinating when they changed their name and kind of
Okay.
became something different. And it kind of reminded me a bit of like multiversi and like stuff like that. So I don't know. I just kind of went down that rabbit hole. So
Right.
I'd like to talk about how the wrestling world is kind of like different cinematic universe sci
Hmm. Okay.
versus. So
Right.
first, okay. To be clear, I cannot emphasize enough. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get comic book stuff wrong. I'm gonna get movie stuff wrong. I'm gonna get wrestling stuff wrong. But I do. I'm 10 toes down that some of these concepts are apply, and I think they're really cool.
Hmm.
So let's get some terminology out of the way. So we're going to talk about the cinematic universe sci. Sooner, the different types of cinematic universe, because I don't know how to make that plural, how to make universe plural. Anyhow, MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there was Marvel Comics,
Hmm.
and they have Marvel Studios, and there was a time where Marvel was hard up for cash. So what they would do is they would sell the rights to some of their characters. So that meant that kind of like when a person turns a book into a movie or whatever, like you can't just like if I wrote my autobiography and I sold it to a studio, some other company can write a movie about me, but it's not the official one, and you can't say me, and like there's certain things you can't do because of that. So with
Right.
Marvel, it's like they sold Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent stuff
Hmm.
to Sony. So
Right.
Sony Marvel Universe. So that means no one else can do Spider Man stuff because Sony bought the rights.
Hmm.
And they did that same concept with Fox.
With,
Um,
with the X-Men.
so no need for explanation. They
Hmm.
did it with Sony, they did it with Fox. So we will need to know that for going forward.
Okay.
Also, DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. So that would be DC Comics. It's their equivalent of the MCU. Okay, so DC gets weird because each universe has a universe. So like not the Avengers, look at me, the Justice League movie, you kind of have to describe these different movies by the actors.
Hmm.
So like the Affleck Batman as
Right.
opposed to the Christian Bale Batman. So these are all DC, but it's all over the place.
Hmm.
So but the DC extended universe is kind of a lot of that world.
Right.
um, and then the last world I want to talk about is the Arrowverse. The Arrowverse
Hmm.
is a part of DC Comics, and on the TV network CW,
Right.
there were 5 shows. There might have been 6. Get off my back, y'all. And the shows were Black Lightning, Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and DC Legends of Tomorrow. So that's the Arrowverse, Sony Marvel Universe, DC EU, and MCU.
Hmm.
So, and then there's only one concept to know for wrestling, and that's promotions. A promotion is a wrestling company. So for us, that would be the 2 main ones we'll talk about is AEW and WWE, but there's also TNA and NXT, and we'll get
Hmm.
into that. So did I You're a nerd, right? You know about
I
this stuff.
very much so. Yeah.
So did I miss anything? Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's all the mainstream like multiverses that we have. And yeah, they are separate universes that within some of them have their own different pocket dimensions, if you want to call it that.
Oh, we're gonna get to pocket dimensions.
Okay, oops.
Don't you worry.
Okay, yeah, no, you did that well.
All right. So this is gonna be over all over the place. So hold on to your hats. So something that I realized is, I mean, in a perfect world, it would be AEW and WWE would be more like Sony, Fox, and Marvel,
Mm,
where there could be more cross talk or
right.
whatever crossing, and there isn't as much, but there are references
Mm,
within certain universes. I gotta figure out what that plural is. Okay, so there's something where you reference something that doesn't exist in that world. So, for example, MJF, one of the AEW characters, was
hmm.
talking to CM Punk, and he mentioned hustle, loyalty, and respect, which is a John Cena
Right.
reference. But technically, I mean, they don't technically live in the same universe, if you want to call it that.
Hmm.
Also, with WWE, they mention Bailey's best friend, which would be, she was not sausage. Amber, you can do this. Sasha Banks came
Right.
to AEW and she became Mercedes Monet.
Mm,
I don't know how to pronounce it. We're going to go with Monet.
yeah.
And so her best friend, they don't say her name, but we know that they're referencing another universe.
Hmm.
And the last example I have is, that's a lie. There's two other examples.
Ooh, okay.
On the show Supergirl in the Arrowverse, Supergirl mentioned her cousin,
Mm,
but she never said his name
right.
was Superman. She just mentioned him. And lastly, this is the coolest one, I think. Know what? Let's go with those. I'll do the other coolest ones. There's two cooler ones. So
Hmm.
talk to me.
Um. So wait, what's the?
So when they reference another universe.
Hmm. Oh, just any examples.
Oh no, just what you think of that. And the WWE version, I guess, would be when they talk about CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and
Right.
how they left for something else. They don't
Hmm.
mention what,
Mm,
but so yes, thoughts on that concept.
yeah. Um. So yeah, studios have always had to like walk a fine line when discussing each other. Um. But they know that the fans aren't oblivious. Like we know that there's these two existing entities. Um. And I mean, with comics, we don't really have that opportunity of this person can go over to that universe and do work, or Batman can't go fight Iron Man's villains,
Mhm.
but with wrestling, I think it's kind of an untapped market where there could be some like think about the video games like Marvel versus Capcom
I don't know what
back
that
in the
means. I don't know any
oh
of those words.
wow yeah, so Marvel versus Capcom was like a legendary game in the 90s, I believe, where Capcom was a company that owned a lot of video game characters, and then
Mhm.
Marvel, of course, is Marvel. And they made a deal where Marvel characters can fight anybody that Capcom owned. And
Nice.
so, like, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but Capcom owned a lot of characters. And so you have Captain America fighting, and this is just an example. I don't know if this is, a character that was in the game, but like Captain America's fighting Princess Peach, or like,
I
like,
absolutely love it.
and that game was so popular, people still talk about it. And imagine if we had AEW versus WWE as a consistent concept.
That
And
would be
so I
awesome.
really like the idea of them, you know, like as of right now, it's like dropping hints,
Yeah.
in the cinematic universes. Though like the Easter eggs and stuff. I think it's great,
Yes.
but I would love for them to dive into that.
Yeah, the closest, and this is kind of a epilogue, not an epilogue, but a throw it in there. There is going to be a Batman versus Deadpool comic, like
Yeah.
the actual comic, not in
Hmm.
the not in a cinematic universe. But it's like, yeah, that would be awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the other two I think are cooler from AEW to WWE when Edge. I guess he's Adam Copeland in AEW.
Okay.
He did the "You Can't See Me" and the "Attitude Adjustment"
Cool.
as a homage to see John Cena, and the crowd, I believe, chanted John Cena.
Yeah.
And then the other way around, I don't know if he did any of Edge's moves, but he did do the Wall of Jericho, I think it's called.
Wow.
So he did
Yeah.
other people's stuff,
Right.
including someone who's outside of the universe.
Hmm.
And the last one I think is the coolest, and it bleeds into the quote real world. And it doesn't have to do with wrestling, but I'll bring it up.
Hmm.
The TV show Black Lightning, part of the Arrowverse. I'm calling it part of the Arrowverse. Technically, they're like, oh, it's not whatever. We're calling it the Arrowverse. So Black Lightning is this black superhero, and a lot of all basically
Yeah.
of the storylines and the plot points, and its core is about race and identity and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So it just so happens that, like, right around the time Black Panther came out, the titular Black Lightning,
Mhm.
his I forget his real name, but his Clark Kent
Mhm.
was wearing a T-shirt that had a Black Panther on it, and
Wow.
I thought that
That's
that was
awesome.
dope.
Yeah, that is
And
awesome.
I'm sure the internet will say it's a coincidence because they're
Mhm.
the Black Panther Party and that
Mhm.
would fit
Mhm.
in with the
Sure.
show. Whatever. There's no way a show like that
Mhm.
could not
Doesn't
make a
know.
nod.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
All right.
awesome.
So those are that. Now, oh boy, hold on to your hats. So then there's the melding of types of universe, because I am avoiding trying to make a plural of
Yeah.
universe. So
Right.
types of universe. So for example, Netflix characters and, well, I guess Netflix characters blending into the MCU is sort of like when WWE will buy another promotion. So like ECW or AAA. So now the ECW lore is a
Mhm.
part of WWE. So I get that
Okay.
technically the Netflix Marvel characters, I guess technically when they started they were saying it's another universe,
Mhm.
but they would do the thing like the thing I said before where it's like, that incident that happened downtown
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Or I remember in one of those shows they literally mentioned the big green guy. It's like,
Yep.
okay, like,
Yep.
we know what you're. Yeah, we get it. Hmm. Hmm.
So technically, Marvel already owned them,
Right.
but for the purposes of storytelling,
Hmm.
one world was brought into another. And I don't think it was the first, but my favorite one of that was when Matt Murdock was in Spider Man No
Yeah.
Way Home.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah, I was a
awesome.
big fan of that. A huge fan. I watched that movie with a group of friends, and they weren't as nerdy as I am. And so when we're in the front row and I'm freaking out
Yep.
because there's this blind guy on the screen, they're like, "What's going
What's
on?"
going
But
on?
they didn't get it, but I got it.
I
It was great.
know.
Yeah.
It is so, like, I am so glad that some of my nerdy friends said, watch all the other Spider Man
Yeah.
movies. Good call.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
was really fun.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to skip some stuff. Skip some stuff. Okay. Another concept. Jericho was on Steve Austin's podcast. So that was the example that I gave of the Deadpool and Batman
Right.
pair up, because Jericho was on, and it's like, well, it's not in the ring, but still, I'm counting it as
Hmm.
part of the
Hmm.
universe. So I thought that was cool. And close to that is Spider-Man, the Sony stuff being in the MCU,
Right.
getting like special permission to get certain characters.
Hmm.
Same sort of thing. So
Well,
Jericho
yeah,
with
that makes
Austin.
perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah, being able to do a small like one-off or, you know, just a little meetup, which is basically what it was. So,
Hmm.
mhm.
Um, we'll skip the pocket dimension. Shows maybe in the Marvel Studios share the world of character overlap, promotion, DCU. Okay, so I'm missing something, but I know what I want to say. So let me put it. Let me write it down. So then there are the people who cross over, and there are three types. One is people who play themselves, so like
Mhm.
Jim Ross. Jim Ross
Okay.
is Jim Ross is
Right.
Jim Ross. And so when he goes from one promotion to another, he is he is him.
Right. Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Maintains the same image.
Oops, sorry. Also, CM Punk or
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, they're the same character that
Yeah.
go from one place to another, as opposed to the Sasha Banks to Mercedes Moné and
Hmm.
John Moxley, or I guess Dean Ambrose to
Yeah.
John Moxley, and Edge to what's his face. So that is that. Same. And also there was something I was getting sick of trying to do research, but like it happens a lot on the show, Law and Order.
Mm.
They'll have actors come back years later
Right.
to play
To
different
reprise.
roles.
Right.
So that's kind of how I felt like Sasha Banks, Dean Ambrose thing
Hmm.
is. It's the same performer, but
Right.
a different role.
Right. Which is cool.
And now for the pocket dimension. Okay, here you go. Hold on to your hats. And if I get this wrong, let me know. So, first, let's get a concept before we get into a concept.
I got you.
Earth 1218.
Hmm.
That's us.
Hmm.
So, that is the quote real world.
Right.
In the quote real world, aliens, to our knowledge, and superheroes do not exist. So, the
Hmm.
world that we're in now is 1218.
Hmm.
So, within the 1218 world, and I know that's a comic thing,
Yeah.
but I feel like as far as the wrestling cinematic universe, conventions are the pocket dimension
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
because performers are coming in character to these conventions,
Right.
and they're from all kinds of promotions in the same place at the same time.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And that's the space where like what I was saying earlier, reality is broken and manipulated.
Hmm.
We are able to have these over the top outworldly characters come together and do outworldly things. And so it's like, yeah, that's perfect. Because in all the comics there's the pocket dimension where the craziest things happen. And so, you could even boil it down to the ring is the pocket dimension. That's where the magic happens, the reality is twisted and torn.
Oh, wow, that's deep.
Mm,
I
you
like
know?
sort of get it,
Yeah.
but like the part that I get is deep and I like it.
Hmm. Hmm.
The
Yeah.
ring. I like it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, this was fun to do.
Yeah. I was like, this could be a part one, part two. You might have to bring this
Absolutely.
back
Because
for
we didn't
sure.
even get into the different worlds,
Yeah.
like how. So there's a universe and then there's a world, and like they're the same but not the same.
Hmm.
So, like for example, in the Arrowverse, they would have multiple Earths, but
Yeah.
they would be the same person going from one to next. So, for example, it's not like James Bond or Doctor Who. Well, no. Well, okay. So the guy who plays the Flash in the Arrowverse,
Hmm.
is it Steve? No,
Grant
Grant.
Gustin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him, Grant. There is a Grant on Earth 1 and Earth 2
Yeah.
and a bunch of
Yeah.
other Earths, but they're not the same person because
Yeah.
they're on different Earths.
Exactly.
But then there were Earths where like there was a Supergirl was on Earth whatever, but she wasn't.
Hmm.
in another one.
Yeah.
And then they would merge together. And so that's kind of like with the Fox Sony um, thing, where they're the same universe but on different Earths,
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe different timelines, but X-Men exist, Spider-Man exists,
Hmm.
and Iron Man exists, and
Hmm.
now the Earths are getting together.
Oh my gosh, my phone's dying.
Of course. Well, we're towards the end. I did a lot of talking, so I feel bad.
No, that's okay. I should have prepared better.
No, it's okay. We will do it again. And
Yeah,
if you have a
definitely a part
topic or
two.
something,
Hmm.
that would be cool because I like doing these.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. This was a lot of fun.
Nice. All right, cool kid.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be it for this because
Okay.
I want us to do more and I want you to talk more
Yeah,
because
no, for
I'm
sure.
interested in your opinions on
Hmm.
stuff.
And I'll do more research. I think these are a lot of fun, especially when we relate them to nerdy things.
Exactly.
But let me plug in. I don't want to
Yes.
have this thing die while
Yes. All right. I will see you later. Peace out.